Hello everyone, this is CA Tejashwini Chiranjeevi. In this video, we are going to cover about the test your knowledge questions of PGBP for CA Inter. We are going to cover all the important test your knowledge questions in the particular session. Okay, let's start with the first question. Mr. Venus, engaged in the manufacturing of the pesticides, basically furnishes the following information for PY 24-25, that is nothing but AY 25-26. For our exam, which is relevant for September, and for January 2026 would be AY 25-26, that is PY 24-25. WDV of the plant and machinery has been provided as on 31st March 2024, that is 30 lakh. Depreciation including additional depreciation is also provided for 23-24, that is 4.75. New machinery purchased on this date 1/9/2024. New machinery purchased on 1/12/2024 and computer purchased on this date, respective date. Information is provided. What is the additional information? All the assets were purchased by account paycheck. Very well. Were put to use immediately. Fine. New machinery purchased on 1/12/2024 and computers. New machinery purchased on 1/12/2024 and computers have been installed in the office. People, what does this point mean? This point immediately additional depreciation should click in your mind. That is how you should be doing certain things. When you're reading the question, only certain things should click. Okay, in the office, if they are meaning, they are meaning to state if there might be a point with relating to the additional depreciation. Okay, during the year end 31st March 2024, a new machinery had been purchased on 31/10/2023. That is in the last PY immediately preceding the previous year on 31/10/2023. A new machinery had been purchased and additional depreciation besides normal depreciation had been claimed. Okay, we'll come back to this point. Depreciation rate for machinery was taken at 15%. SSE has no brought forward business loss or unabsorbed depreciation as in 1/4/24. Compute the depreciation which is available to the SSE as per the provisions of the Income Tax Act and WDV of the different block if he exercises the option to shift out of the default tax regime or he pays tax under the default tax regime under section 115 PAC. They are asking you to solve under both. Under he paying tax under the default tax regime also, he doesn't pay the tax under default tax regime. People, what might be the basic difference? Additional depreciation would be the point. If you are coming under default tax regime, then you would not be getting any additional depreciation. However, normal depreciation you would be getting as it is. But however, in case of normal depreciation, in case of the normal tax regime, that is optional tax regime, you can get both additional depreciation and normal depreciation also. Okay. See, there are certain points which you need to keep in mind in this particular question. That is, they have given the WDV as on 31/3/2024. That is nothing but 1/4/2024. For previous PY they have given. And depreciation including additional depreciation for the last preceding previous year is given. New machinery information is given. Fine. So now when you're calculating, see, you have a format of calculating the WDV. How to calculate the WDV of the plant and machinery has been provided in our Income Tax Act. First we will take the opening WDV, we'll add the additions during the year and then we will give the deletions during the year and then we will provide WDV before charging depreciation for the relevant period. Then you're going to charge depreciation for the relevant period. Then you're going to get WDV charging after the depreciation. Great. See, that is what we are going to do here also. See, whenever we are making the computation of the WDV, first we are going to check for plant and machinery. Here we have provided for plant and machinery and computer separately. Why? Because plant and machinery comes under 15%. Normal plant and machinery comes under 15% bracket. However, computer falls under 40%. People, remember 40%. So WDV as on 31/3/2024 before depreciation was 30. See people, and this depreciation whatever they are providing, this is not for 22-23, this is for 23 and 24. Okay, we'll make some relevant if there is any changes. If there is any changes that we need to make, we will make that correspondingly. So 30 and depreciation for the period for the preceding PY. See people, why are you subtracting this? The point being very simple. Whenever you're having the question, whenever you're getting the question, see here, depreciation as in plant and machinery they are provided and depreciation they are provided separately. It means they are providing you with the information wherein you need to subtract the depreciation from the preceding, that is from the last WDV. You should arrive at the WDV after providing the depreciation for the 31st March 2024, so that you can take it as per 1/4/2024. Okay. See here, basically you can make assumption here, but it is better to go as per the norms. So we'll do one thing, we will take it as per the ICAI. The another thing you can do is that you can write an assumption. Assumption should be written if you are following this method which I am stating now. You can directly take WDV of the plant and machinery as on 31/3/2024 as your opening WDV, where you can take it directly instead of this depreciation. You can take it here, provided you write an assumption that this depreciation, including the additional depreciation for PY 23/24, is already provided or is already considered. This whatever you could see 30, this is after the depreciation only, the WDV which has been existed. If you're writing this assumption, very well fine. If you're not writing that assumption, you will not get marks, because ICAI is considering this WDV. You should subtract the depreciation. You should get the WDV after charging the depreciation. Then consider it as an opening balance for 1/4/2024. I hope it made sense. Okay. It is left to you, but it is better to go as per the ICAI norms, because we already have a question here. We will be solving this so that we can, if you are getting a similar question also, please do it as per the ICAI norms only. That is recommended. People, we have to get marks also along with the knowledge. We need to get marks also. So we have to concentrate on both knowledge on one side and securing marks also on another side. Okay. If one thing overweighs, the other thing will be a problem. So make sure that you're doing both. Now I have got the opening WDV, that is 30 minus 4.75. 30 minus 4.75 is equal to 25.25. Do you have any assets which you purchased during the year? Obviously, yes, you have 3 assets. One is computer, that gets under the computer block. These two gets under the machinery block. Okay, see, plus 10, which have been used for a period more than 180 days or less than 180 days. Machinery purchased for 1/9/2024, more than 180 days, you will add it. Less than 180 days, you are making a separate segregation so that depreciation becomes easy. The reason why you are writing these two separately as per the format is that so that your depreciation calculation becomes easier. Okay. So 25.25 plus you are adding 10 plus 8, now 43.25. Computer is there, which is less than 180 days. You can look into the question, you got it. Then minus, is there any asset sold during the year? Nothing. So you'll keep it as blank. Now you got this WDV before charging depreciation. Now you have to calculate the depreciation. Okay. So how do you calculate the depreciation under the normal provisions for the point 1 is going to be opening WDV. You have opening WDV. And plant and machinery, all of us know it is going to be 15%. It's there in your syllabus. Please, if you don't remember, then we have to remember that block chart. Important ones are there. You have to remember those block chart. So 25.25 into 15%, you will get so much. This is normal depreciation. For more than 180 days, you will get 100% of the allowable depreciation. No. So 10 into 15 will be 1.5 lakh, 15%. Less than 180 days, you will get 50% of the allowable depreciation. Govinda, not 50%. 50% of the allowable depreciation. What is allowable depreciation? 15%. 50% of that would be how much? 7.5%. 8 into 7.5% if you do, you will get this answer. Okay. Now, what about your computer? Computer is 4 per 4, no? Everyone, computer is 4. Now, for this computer, here the calculation is here. So, I need not write it. Calculation is here only. See here, 8 into 15% or 50%. You have to do 50% of this one and then do it. Okay. You can do this direct calculation, you will get the answer. But how do you understand it? 50% of allowable depreciation, on that you are going to claim the depreciation, normal depreciation. Here also it's going to be same. 40% is allowed for computer, 50% of that is going to be 20%, 20% of 4 will be so much. Okay, great. What about the additional depreciation, people? Normal additional depreciation for more than 180 days. Additional depreciation for the machinery, new machinery, more than 180 days is going to be 10 into 20%. People, 20% is the maximum rate of additional depreciation allowable. If it is used for a period more than 180 days, you will get 100% of it. So you are going to take. What about this one? See here. Have you provided normal depreciation for this? Yes. Have you provided additional depreciation for this? Yes. Have you provided additional depreciation for this? No, you will not get additional depreciation, my dear wonderful people, because new machinery purchased on this date is used in office. As per one of the condition of normal depreciation, sorry, additional depreciation, if you are installing your machinery in the office, you are not going to get any additional depreciation. So here you will not get additional depreciation. What about computer? Are computer also you will not get because it's installed in the office. No, you also will not get additional depreciation. Is the matter closed now? No. You still have one more calculation. You still have one more thing to do. What is it? This point. During the year 31st March 2024, a new machinery had been purchased on 31/10/2023 for 10 lakh. What is it? That is in the preceding PY. A machinery had been purchased on this date. Additional depreciation besides normal depreciation had been claimed for. Now go backwards and think. In this year, you have purchased on 31/10, which is less than 180 days. For 10 lakh, you have taken additional depreciation. It means you have taken 10% of the additional depreciation in the PY 23/24. No. Now the remaining 10% you can get in PY 24/25. I hope everyone knows this point. On 24/25, you can get the additional remaining 10% you can get. On how much? Is it on 9 lakh into 10% or 10 lakh into 10%? People, it's on the actual is always calculated on actual cost. So 10 lakh into 10%, you can take it in this year. That is nothing but 10 lakh into 10%. That is nothing but 20% into 50% is going to be 10% only, no? So last year you have taken 10%. Now this year you will take 10%. You will get 10 lakh. That is nothing but 2 plus 3. This is going to be an additional depreciation. If you add these 3 plus these 2, you will get 8.8875. And for additional depreciation, however, you don't have anything for computer. So it's going to be 0.8. This is under normal provision. Everyone. Now, if you're calculating under default tax regime, people, very simple. Whatever you have done till year, it will be the same point which you're copy pasting. Additional depreciation point you will not get in your default tax regime. That's the only difference. I hope it made sense and it is clear. Okay. This was your question number 1 in your test your knowledge. People, whatever the material you can see, all this material is available in my Telegram channel. I'll provide all the resources free of cost. So it is available over there. If you want to make the use of it, you can get it over there. And the link for the same will be provided in the description. Okay. Okay. Let's move forward with the next question, people. Mr. Abhimanyu is engaged in the business of generation and the distribution of electric powers. Okay. He opts to claim depreciation on WDV or for income tax purpose. From the following details, compute the depreciation allowable as per the provisions of the Income Tax Act for AY 25-26, assuming he has exercised the option of shifting out of default tax regime provided under section 115 BAC. Okay. WDV of block as on 31st March 2024 is 15% rate. That is nothing but 50%. Here what they provided is after depreciation assumption only. Sorry, it might be before depreciation or after depreciation. We'll see what assumption we are going to take and what ICAI has considered. Depreciation for PY 23-24 is 7.5. New machinery purchased on 12/10/2024 is 10%. Machinery imported from Colombo on 12/4/2024 is 9. This machinery has been used in Colombo earlier and the assessee is the first user in India. New computer installed in the generation wing unit on 15/7/2024. All the purchases were made by account page check. What have they asked you? They have asked you to compute the depreciation allowable. Okay. They're asking you, just asking you to how do you compute the depreciation. First of all, tell me people, in case of the WDV, 50 lakh rupees, whatever they are provided. Like the previous question, here we are assuming that they have not provided for depreciation as of now. We are providing for the depreciation. So 50 minus 7.5 on that exceeding amount, that is nothing but 42.5. On that amount, we can charge 15% depreciation. That becomes your opening WDV. Okay. Let's see if there is any other machinery which is having the term of more than 180 days, so that we can add it and provide for the same. Okay. New machinery purchased on 12/10/2024. This is for a period less than 180 days, you will provide 50% of the allowable depreciation, nothing but 7.5. Machinery imported from Colombo on 12/4/2024. So 100% of the allowable depreciation you will provide, yes. So you will provide for the same. 50 minus 7.5 plus 9% if you do, this is nothing but here also you will provide 15% of the normal depreciation. Everyone. Here also, this minus this also will provide 15% normal depreciation. So what ICA has considered is that they have just taken the total 51,50,000. On that they have provided 15% directly. You can do one more thing. You can take opening WDV, show this separately and provide 15% separately, and 9 lakh separately you can show and provide 15%. Totally fine. You will get the same answer though. Okay. So this is, however, it's less than 180 days. So it's going to be 7.5% on this 10 lakh. You're going to get 75,000. This plus this, if you add, and you have a new computer installed in the generation wing. However, you can take on 15/7/2024, you can take 100% of the allowable depreciation. That is not that is nothing but 40%. 40% on this 2 lakh will be 80,000. 9,27,500 will be your depreciation. However, you have additional depreciation that you can consider. What is that additional depreciation that you can consider here? One is new machinery which you have purchased. Is this for a period less than 180 days or more than 180 days, people? That is for a period less than, where is it? Less than 180 days. So I'm going to allow only 10%. Remaining will be the next year. Remaining I can take it in the next year. This year I'll take 10%. That is nothing but 1 lakh. Everyone. And also, new computer installed in the wing. People, new installed in the generation wing is nothing but it's installed in the organization, factory, not in the office. Computer installed in the office, you can't get additional depreciation. However, computer installed in the organization, in the factory, can you get additional depreciation? Yes, you can get. So this 2 lakh on 20% would be 40,000. You will get it. Why are you not getting here? Because it is a second-hand goods. Second-hand machinery, you can't claim additional depreciation as per the Income Tax Act 1961. Everyone, I hope you have revised the concept and now the questions are very, very clear. I am repeating the provisions also wherever it is necessary. Okay. It's provided you add it, you will get depreciation on the plant and machinery. Done. So the remaining, after this question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all those are theory questions, people. I felt it can be managed by you if you give it a one-time read. So I'm not wasting time reading after all those. Let's move and look into the next question. So Mr. Shivam, a retail trader at Kochi, gives the following profit and loss account and trading account information. Very well. First, we'll look into the additional information and then we'll come back to that particular trading and profit and loss account for that matter. It was found that some stocks were omitted to be included in both opening and the closing stocks and the value were so much. See, here they have provided the information directly. Opening stock and closing stock of worth 9,000 and 18,000. They were omitted to be included. It means in this opening stock and closing stock which is provided here, there is no, these two informations have not been provided. So we have to increase the opening stock and we have to increase the closing stock and we have to see the corresponding effect that it has on profits. Okay. Salary includes 10,000 paid to his brother, which is unreasonable to the extent of 2,000. So if you remember section 48(2), wherein the payment which you are making to a related party, excess of market value, or which is unreasonable to the extent, that is excess of market value is what we call it as, we are going to disallow only that excess of market value amount, that is 2,000 rupees. Whole amount of printing and stationery was paid in cash by one-time payment to Mr. Ramesh. See, how much is that printing and stationery? 23,200. Tell me which section would be applicable? Section 40A3, people. Cash disallowance. If you are making any payment in cash to any person in a single day and a single payment which is exceeding 10,000 rupees, the entire amount would be disallowed. You guys remember that? Very, very important section 40A3. Depreciation provided in the profit and loss account is 1,05,000 and it is based on the information. The depreciation which is provided in your P&L account would be disallowed. However, depreciation as per the Income Tax Act 1961 would be allowed. Here they have given the depreciation for you to compute as per the Income Tax Act. We'll see that. Rent and rates includes GST liability of 3,400 paid on 7/4/2025. Where is it? Rates and rent and rates in that is 36,000 includes 3,400 which is paid on 7/4/2025. People, what does it mean? If you remember section 43B, wherein if you are making a payment, you are supposed to make a payment to any tax, duty or cess, and that payment is made within before 139(1) due date, that is for PY 24/25, the 139(1) due date falls under, if it's a company or if it's an individual, for him it falls under 31st July. No, basically 31st July 2025 is the last date. It is within 139(1) due date only has paid, so there is no disallowance that is attractive. Other general expenses includes rupees 2,000 paid as donation as PPF trust. 2,000 rupees which he has paid as a donation to public charitable trust. This 2,000 rupees donation, this goes under 80G concept. Okay, you are required to compute the. However, this other general expenses includes 2,000. So we are going to remove that effect in your PGBP, reduce the expenses, decrease the expenses, and we are going to provide the same under section 80G. Later we will see. You are required to compute the profits and gains of Mr. Shivam under presumptive taxation under section 4480 and PGBP as per the regular provisions. And they have just asked you PGBP, they have not asked you total income. So please be mindful of it. Assume that the whole amount of the turnover received is by check and by account paying check. People, section 4480, if you remember, this is allowed if your turnover is up to rupees 2 crore. And if your cash receipts are less than 5% of your total receipts, then your turnover of 2 crore can increase to 3 crores. Keeping 2 crores and 3 crores in point, if your turnover is up to it, then whatever income which you're supposed to show, you can show 8%, 6% of your bank transaction that has happened, turnover which has happened through the bank, you can show 6% as your income. 8% in case those receipts which you have shown it under cash. Okay. Here we'll see how much is the receipts. It is less than 2 crore rupees. So we can take the normal provisions of this 6%. All those transactions have happened in account pay check. They have provided it clearly. So this multiplied by 6% will be your 4480 income. Simple as that. No expenses, income, nothing, no consideration. Directly take on this one, 6% you calculate, you'll get 4480. Now we will do the computation and see whether my income which I'm going to get, is it less than 6% or whether it is more than that. Clear? Now, here you have two income. One is nothing but the gross profit which has been carried forward. Income from UTI. Tell me people, income from UTI, is it PGBP income or income from other sources? Income from other sources, no. So this is your profit. Basically, this is your profit income. Income increase, profit also increases. See, if you are increasing +1 year, your net profit also would be increased by +1. It means income increase, profit also increase. Now I have to decrease the effect of profit here. So what I will do? I will subtract in my PGBP and I will add in my subtract this in my PGBP and I will add in my income from other sources. However, you are not doing the total income computation. So this becomes nullified. This becomes nullified. Only this gets highlighted. That is only this calculation you need to do. Similarly, interest on loan is there, find depreciation. However, you are going to subtract this depreciation. Printing and stationery effect we have seen, all these things we have seen. See here, loss on sale of shares. This is the expenses or loss expenses which is not allowed under PGBP, but this is the loss which you can show it under your capital gain, right? So, this is your expenses. If expenses increases, see people, basic calculation here. Let's consider your income is 10, your expenses is 6. How much is your profit? 4, right? I'm just taking a random example here. What if I increase my expenses by 1? That is total now is 7. What will happen to your profit? Profit decreases by 1. That is nothing but 3. Everyone, profit decreases by 1. Can I say if expenses increases, your profit automatically decreases? So now I have to give this effect of expense increase, profit decrease. The opposite is also true. Expense decrease, profit increase. So if I want to decrease my expenses here, what I can do? I should add it to my profit. No? So expense decrease, profit increase. I will add it in my PGBP. I will subtract this in my PGBP. This I should disallow, no? So this also same thing. I should decrease my expenses. This is nothing but my profit increases because this is disallowed. No, printing and stationery, the point you have seen disallow. Depreciation also, I will add back this depreciation expenses because I will provide my actual income. Depreciation on income tax, I will actually subtract it. So I'm going to provide the same. Other general expenses we have seen, and net profit is so much. We can do the computation now, people. See here. So now when it comes to your closing stock, okay. So this closing stock, what has happened to this closing stock is that they have undervalued this closing stock by how much? 18,000. Everyone, see, basically you have this point. When the closing stock decreases, your profit also decreases because this has a similar effect like that of income. If income decreases, profit also decreases. Similarly, if closing stock decreases, profit also decreases. I'll take a simple example here, okay. Let's consider the closing stock to be 2 and 20. I'll just to take the closing stock here. I'll take the opening stock to be 5. And how much would be my profit? Just keeping it very simple, people. Profit is going to be 15, correct? What if I increase my closing stock to 25? My profit also increases by 5. So can I say if my closing stock increases, my profit also increases. Similarly, if the closing stock decreases, profit also decreases. This has the similar effect of income increase, profit increase, income decrease, profit decrease. This has a similar effect. The opposite is also true. See, if the closing stock, you can do a similar example. You can take out some random numbers and do it. If opening stock increases, your profit automatically decreases. If your opening stock decreases, your profit automatically increases. This has a similar effect of income expense increase, profit decrease, expense decrease, profit increase. This has a similar effect. You can try out with certain numbers and you can do it. Everyone understanding? See now, what has happened? Closing stock, whatever they have provided is undervalued, correct? If the closing stock is undervalued, what would have happened to your profit? Your profit would have also been undervalued. Now you have to give the correct effect, that is increase your closing stock. If your closing stock increases, your profit also increases. It means you are going to add the closing stock effect in your PGBP. I hope it is understood. Okay. So now what has happened with the closing stock? They have decreased the closing stock, which has affected my profit in increase. Now I have to give the correct effect, that is increase my closing stock. If I increase my opening stock, what would happen to my profit? Profit would decrease. So what is the effect that I give to my opening stock? It is minus 9,000 in my PGBP computation. Understanding, everyone? Now, what would I do with this 2,000? This is unreasonable expenses. So what should I do? I'm disallowing it. Disallowing means expenses I'm adding back. Everyone, always remember, disallowance of expenses means adding back. You're decreasing your expenses, which is in turn increasing your profit. So what you will do, you will add back this 2,000 rupees, you will add back. This is under section 48, no? And this printing and stationery, this is under section 48(3). So whatever the 23,200 is there, you are going to add back. This depreciation, we are going to see this depreciation. What will happen to this rent and rates? This is nil effect. There is no effect for this one. This you are going to, this 2,000 rupees you are going to add back because you are going to give that as a reduction somewhere else. See here, undervaluation of stock 10,000. Payment made under section 48, or payment made to a relative unreasonable for the extent of 2,000 added. Cash disallowance, printing and stationery under section 40A3, 23,200. Depreciation as per income tax, depreciation as per P&L 1,05,000. Short-term capital gain on shares, I told you, no. Short-term capital gain on shares 8,100. You are going to add it. And donation also. Excuse me. Sorry. 8,100. And donation 2,000. Undervaluation of the opening stock is going to be how much, people? 9,000. I told you, I've already shown you the calculation. Where is it? See here, opening stock. I told you this is the effect they have done. We should give the rectify the effect. This rectification effect would lead to profit decrease. This is nothing but so minus. People, there is no need for you to buy hard things. Plus, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Plus, this is what I'm going to do. Minus. Just understand this effect. This is the only effect that you need to understand in your PGBP for you to get things through. Okay. Now, income from UTI chargeable to tax under income from other sources. I told you income from UTI. Where is it? Where is it? See here, income from UTI. You are going to subtract from your PGBP, add it under income from other sources. We are not doing the total income computation, so this effect will not give. We will only give this effect. That is minus from the PGBP people, 2400. And depreciation. See, they have given in the question plant and machinery opening balance they have provided. They have purchased a new machinery wherein the working is more than 180 days. They have added. And you have a sale proceeds which has happened, you will subtract it. On the remaining amount, you are going to charge the depreciation. Why is that so? Because we already know under income tax, individual assets loses its identity once it's get into its block. It gets added to its block, it loses its identity. So 66,000 is the point. Everyone? So 66,000, you have done the calculation, you have got your PGBP. So your income is 1,30,900. But as per 44 AD, if you take 6% of your total income, it becomes 6,72,690. Array, they have not asked you to recommend, right? See, you are required to compute under both. Okay. They have not asked you to recommend. If they would have asked you to recommend, which one would you suggest? Whether to consider PGBP income as this or this? Obviously, this one only, no. Less the income, less the tax you pay. So, you would have considered 1,30,900. Clear? Making sense, everyone? Okay. We'll get into question number 8. That is Sukhwinder. Mr. Sukhwinder is engaged in the business of flying goods carriage. On 1st April 2024, he owns 10 trucks, out of which 6 are heavy goods and goods vehicle weighing 15,000 kg. How do you classify under section 44 AE as the heavy goods vehicle? People, heavy goods vehicle are those where in the weight of that heavy goods would be weight of this vehicle would be 12,000 kg, exceeding 12,000 kg. So it is 15,000 kg, so it's going to be considered as heavy goods. On 2nd May, he sold one of the heavy goods vehicle and purchased a light good vehicle on 6th May 2024. This vehicle could, however, be put to use only on 15th June 2024. Compute the total income of Sukhwinder for AY 25-26 taking this account. Charges collected is 12,70,000. Operational expenses, depreciation under section 32 as per income tax, and other expenses is 8,25,000. Net profit is 4,45,000, and other business and non-business income would be 70,000. Making sense, everyone? So now, what have they asked you in the question is that they have asked you to compute the total income. See, whatever they provided is as per the books. Now, let's do it as per whether it is allowed under section 44 AE. How much would be the amount of income that you would consider if you are opting for section 44 AE? Okay. As per section 44 AE, if you are owning goods not more than 10, that is up to 10 if you are owning, you can show your income as fixed, that is 7,500 per month for the normal vehicles, that is other than heavy goods vehicle. For heavy goods vehicle, you will show 1,000 per ton multiplied by number of tons and the number of months for that matter. See here, first of all, for heavy goods vehicle, one goods carriage up to 1st May. See here, what have they told? On 1st April, he owns 10 trucks, out of which 6 heavy goods vehicle. On 2nd May, he sold one of the heavy goods and purchased the light goods vehicle. Okay, he sold one heavy goods vehicle. So, we'll consider that one. As per section 44 AE, even if that vehicle is used even for a single day in a month, we would consider one entire month for the purpose of computation. Okay. Suppose you have purchased a vehicle on May 2024. Suppose. Okay. Basically, you have used it for 11 months. Correct. You have purchased means 11 months. Suppose you have purchased it on 30th of April. You will now consider the income for 12 months for that vehicle, 7,500 into 12 months, because it is per month or a part of month which is being provided in the provision of Income Tax Act 1961. Here on 2nd May means he is selling now. So April month he has used it, and he has also used for the month of May. 2 days in May also would be computed or would be considered as 1 month, entire 1 month. So one goods vehicle, 2 months, rate per ton is 1000, and how many tons are there? We have that point provided in the question, 15,000, that divided by 1000, you do it, 15 tons you would get it. So if you multiply everything, you will get 30,000. Okay, one goods vehicle multiplied by 2 months into 1000 per ton into 15 tons, you will get as 30,000. They have told you in the question, it is 6 heavy goods vehicle, one he has sold. In that place, he has replaced with a light goods vehicle. Okay. Now, remaining you have 5 that has been used for the entire 12 months, 1000 per month multiplied. You will get the total income that you would compute under section 44AE. Okay. So, other than heavy goods vehicle, that is light goods vehicle, can I say once you have bought it for 11 months, that is in the month of May, you would consider 11 months over here, 7,500 you got it. Remaining you had 10, out of that 6 were heavy goods vehicle, replacement you leave, remaining were 4, it was present for entire 12 months, 7,500 you got 3,60. If you do the total under your presumptive taxation, you will get 13,72,500. Other business income combined it is 70,000, and your total income would be so much. However, whatever information which is provided in the question, it is as per the where the books of accounts have been maintained. Correct. If the books of accounts have been maintained, it is 4,45,000 plus 70. Your income is 5,50,000. If you would have given a point wherein you need to suggest, which one you would have suggested? Obviously, where the income is low. So that Mr. Sukhwinder should have gone there. But they are not asked you for suggestions, so don't do overaction of suggesting and all. If they are not asked, please don't suggest. Okay. Now, the next question is Mr. Raju. Mr. Raju, a manufacturer at Chennai, gives you the following manufacturing, trading, profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March 2025. Trading, manufacturing in point are given, and here you have some additional information also provided for the same. See, following are the further information relating to the financial year 24-25. Administrative charges include 46,000, which is paid as commission to brother. Commission amount to the market one is 36,000. We have discussed a similar point in question number 8. Sorry, question number 6. We have discussed a similar question, right? Everyone? We have discussed a similar question. So 36,000, 46,000. As per section 40A2, excess of the market value which you are paying to a related party, the payment may be made to a related party in excess of the market value is going to be disallowed. So 36,000 minus 46,000 is going to be 10,000. That 10,000 will be disallowed. Disallowed means add back. Correct? Okay. The income paid, the SSC paid 33,000 in cash to a transport courier on 29/12/24. It is included, and TDS is not applicable. People, the excess of 10,000 rupees disallowed under section 48(3), no. But wait, this is for a transport carrier, you are making the payment. There is one exception. That is for the transport carrier, if you are making a payment, it can be up to 35,000. Excess of 35,000 would be disallowed. This is up to 33,000, no. So this does not have any effect. It has nil effect. Okay. A sum of rupees 4,000 per month was paid as a salary to a staff throughout the year, and this has not been recorded in the books of accounts. A sum of rupees how much? 4,000 per month was paid as salary to a staff. See, this 4,000 rupees was paid as a salary to a staff throughout the year, and this has not been recorded in the books. See, one, you can consider this, which was paid as a salary to staff, which is not recorded as omission. If you consider it as an omission, this 4,000 rupees, you can now allow it as your expenses. So then it would become minus from your PGBP. Okay. If you allow it as your expenses. If you consider this as unexplained expenditure over here, it would be considered as undisclosed income, and it would be taxable at the rate of 60%. Making sense? You can either take any one, but the ICA assumes it to be an omission. See, you can either consider it to be undisclosed income or omission, whichever you want, you can consider. You can either take this or take this assumption, or you can take the undisclosed income assumption. So let's see what ICA has considered. See, what ICA has considered is salary paid to staff not recorded in the books. Either you can take 48,000 as erroneous omission, that is by mistake you have omitted to record it. It was a genuine transaction, so you can take a minus 48,000 here. Also, you can consider this, that is, you can consider it as an unexplained expenditure wherein you are not able to explain it to the assessing officer, and it would be taxable at the rate of section 60%. If that is the case, then you would not take any deduction under this expenditure. This would become nil. Okay, you can take any one. You can take either this or you can take either that as your assumption. Anything would be fine. Okay. So, if you want me to take this one only, I can take this 48,000 as only the point in our solution as well. So, we would do the necessary changes here, people. Staff salary paid but not recorded, we have considered as per ICA only. Suppose if you don't want to take this assumption, then you would record this, you will write it nil, and you will write an assumption, or you can write a point in a working note stating that this 48,000 is an unexplained expenditure. So as per that, 60% would be 60% of this unexplained expenditure would be considered under section 115 BBE, and in that case there would be no deduction. You would not record this point, you would consider it as nil. Okay, so in our assumption, we'll go as per the ICA, what ICA has recorded, and we'll consider 48,000 as allowable expenditure. There was an omission, so we would provide allowable expenditure. We'll consider the same. The bank term loan interest actually paid up to 31/3/2025 was 20,000, and the balance was paid in November 2025. What is it? The bank term loan interest actually paid up to 31/3/2025 during the relevant PY, and the balance was paid in November 2025. See, people, this is for Mr. Raju, and this Mr. Raju's 139/1 due date would be 31st July 2025. As he paid the bank loan up to that period, balance was paid in November 20. How much was the bank term loan given in the question? 60,000. Out of the 60,000, this fellow has paid 20,000. No. So no problem till this one. Remaining 40,000, whatever he has, this will be disallowed under section 43B. So 40,000 rupees I am going to add back in my computation. Understanding, everyone? Why did I add back? Because out of that total 60,000, this fellow has paid 20,000. No problem. Actually paid under section 43B. And he paid the remaining amount in November 2025, that is after 139/1 due date. However, he will get that 40,000 rupees as a deduction in the year in which he actually pays it. That is in PY 25/26, he will get it. No problem. Okay, done. So what you are going to do here, you are going to add back 40,000. Clear? Housing loan principal repaid during the year was 50,000, and it relates to residential property acquired by him in PY 23-24 for self-occupation, and interest on housing loan was 23,000. Housing loan was taken from Canara Bank. These amounts were not dealt in P&L. Okay. See, basically, housing loan principal repaid during the year. See, this fellow, first of all, this fellow pays under default tax regime. And for self-occupation property, all of us know there is no interest that will be allowed under the default tax regime. What are we computing? We are computing total income. So based on that, we are doing the solution. See here, housing loan repaid during the year is 50,000. First of all, if it was under normal provision, would you get the deduction under section 80C? Absolutely yes. Up to 1.5 you would have got. 50,000 you would have got. Rest of residential house acquired in 2024. Fine. For self-occupation. Would you get the interest on self-occupation as your deduction if it was normal provision? Yes. What if this is under default tax regime? Would you get it? No. Would you get this one? No. 80C is not allowed, and under section 24B, interest on self-occupation property is also not allowed. Housing loan was taken from Canara Bank and this was not it. Fine. This you are not going to touch or give any deductions or effect from, because first of all this doesn't have any effect in P&L, and also this is default tax regime, so you would not give any effect. Making sense? Very well. Depreciation allowable under the act is to be computed on the basis of the following information. Say WDV minus depreciation, they have given so much. Addition which is used for more than 180 days, so much. And total additions. Total addition means out of the total addition 2 lakh rupees is more than 180 days. So remaining 2 lakh will be less than 180 days. No. Out of 4 lakh, 2 lakh is more than 180 days, means less than 180 days is 2 lakh. So based on that, you are going to give the depreciation adjustments and calculations from. See 11 lakh 90 opening plus 2 lakh rupees, that is nothing but used for a period more than 180 days. You can take entire 15%, so you have added. You can give it separately also. 11 lakh 90 into 15%, 2 lakh into 15%. You can give it separately also, or you can provide it in combine and provide, no problem. You will get the same answer finally. 2 lakh rupees which is used for a period less than 180 days, 7.5. That is nothing but 50,000. Total is 2,23,500. This is as per section 32, wherein you are going to take. What about the additional depreciation, people? Additional depreciation you should get, no? Because this is a manufacturing company. And this is for, you're doing the solution for default tax regime. Default tax regime, you don't have the concept of additional depreciation. You can't take the additional depreciation for default tax regime. Clear? Understood? No. We'll do income from house property first. Income from house property, self-occupied property is nil. Interest is nil, and your total final answer is also nil. Okay. So now you have seen all the additional points. Let's get into this point. Sales, closing stock, all this information you will record. There is no changes they have provided, so we'll provide. Dividend and income from agricultural income. First of all, dividend from domestic companies, this is nothing but income from house property, income from other sources. However, this should not have effect in your PGBP. Income decrease, profit also decrease. So you are going to subtract it from your PGBP. This should not have effect in your PGBP. However, this is your exempted income, people, income from agriculture. So it's not going to be taxable at all. It's an exempted income, one effect minus from PGBP. See here, administrative charges fine is GST penalty. People, if the penalty which is being paid, if it is because of breach of contract, that penalty is allowed. If it is because of breach of law, that penalty is not allowed. So is this penalty allowed? No, it is not allowed. So what you are going to do? You are going to add back. GST paid. So assuming this is paid within 139 due date, very well, fine. General expenses, fine. This we have already considered. Depreciation, what you are going to do? You are going to add back this depreciation and allow the depreciation as per the Income Tax Act, which we have done. Clear? So we'll do the similar computation. First of all, payment to relative. I told you 36,000 minus 46,000. Guys, remember what is it? 46,000 minus 36,000, that is nothing but 10,000. Clear? Cash disallowance. This is transporter up to 35,000. Up to 35,000 for transport carrier, it is allowed, no? Everyone, you have to write the corresponding working notes. Without working notes, you will not get full marks. Please be careful. Bank term loan, I told you. How did you get this? Out of 60,000, 20,000 is however allowed. Remaining 40,000 is what you would consider. Clear? SGST penalty. I told you, breach of law, not allowed. That is, it is disallowed. Disallowed means add back. Depreciation as per P&L consider. Depreciation as per income tax taken as minus. Dividend from domestic domestic company, dividend. Income from other sources, minus from PGBP. Income from agriculture, minus from PGBP. Exempted income, not taxable anywhere. Salary to staff, we have already discussed. So if you do the total, you will get the PGBP of 2,88,500. And whatever you have subtracted, income from domestic company, it will be added under the head income from other sources. Correct? Deduction under section 80C, will you get anything? People, this is under default tax regime. So you will not get anything yet. You will just take the NTI and close. Done. So the next question, people, Mr. Tenzin is engaged in composite business of growing and currying. Further processing. Basically, he is growing and currying the coffee in Coorg. Okay, you know the segregation of 60% and the 40%. The whole of coffee grown in this plantation is cut. Relevant information for the period is provided. Opening balance of car only asset in the block as on this date. After considering the depreciation is been provided. So you can take that for the purpose of depreciation. Computation of depreciation. Opening balance of machinery as on 1/4/2024, that is the WDV after considering the depreciation will be 15 lakh. Opening balance of both the point are given. Expenses incurred for growing coffee, expenses for currying coffee, and sale value for the curd coffee. So this becomes my mean sales income. For this, I'm going to subtract my depreciation, my expenses, and everything. Finally, after doing everything, I will segregate it to 60 and 40. Okay. Besides being used for agricultural operation, the car is also used for personal purpose, and the disallowance is 20%. So the depreciation, whatever I would compute for car, 80% is my business expenses, 20% is my non-business expenses. That is my disallowed expenses. Only 80% depreciation I should provide. And car expenses is also for 50,000. Out of that, 80% only I would provide. So 40,000 only I would provide for the purpose of my calculations or my PGBP computations. Okay, see. First, if I do my depreciation calculation, opening balance I have for the car. For car, I have the opening balance and I have closing also. There is no purchases, there is no sales. So directly I will take the same. Depreciation would be 45,000. However, 20% is disallowed. So 36,000 would be the depreciation which is allowed. Machinery opening balance is given in the question. However, there is nothing disallowance for the machinery. So I would directly take 15% on that 15 lakh. It is 2,25,000. If I have 36,000 plus 2,25,000, that becomes my total depreciation that I would consider for my, see where is it, depreciation on car, depreciation on the machinery. Okay, sale value it's already provided in the question, 22 lakh. Expenses for growing coffee and expenses for the currying coffee, it's already given in the question. See where is it, it's here. These two are done. Depreciation calculation point I have shown you. And car expenses, running and maintenance of car expenses, only up to 40,000 rupees it's allowed as it's considered for the purpose of expenditure, no? So 40,000. So total profits from operations 22 lakh. If you subtract all these things, you will get 12,89,000. Sorry, out of that it is growing, currying, grounded and roasted would be 60 and 40. However, it is just growing and currying, no. So it would be 75 and 25%, not 60 and 40. Apologies for it. It's not 60 and 40. It is 75 and 25. Agricultural income would be considered as 75% and the business income would be considered as 25%. And this is how you would compute the tensor questions. So whatever the solution handwritten materials you have seen, if you want the same, it is available in the Telegram channel. In the description, the link would be provided. You can get the same. Not only this video, any video of which you can see in my channel. All the handwritten materials or the PDFs, whatever I use, everything I would provide it in my Telegram channel. You can join and get the free resources from the same. Okay. Thank you so much everyone. We'll meet in next video.